Well, Dave, we were just talking before we started the recording about 28,295 at McMahon. Read somewhere biggest non-Labor Day crowd since 2019 or something. Maybe a little too much green than you might like, but you know what? Winning, that'll sprinkle a little more. That's going to start bringing the red back. You got to start feeling pretty good about things around McMahon these days. 7-3, not too
Yeah,
shabby, pal.
no, I mean, well, the weather we've been having this year has been crazy, and we got a beautiful, beautiful afternoon game. I mean, I guess it was five, but it just was ideal, and it was a great crowd. It really was back and forth. I enjoyed seeing the people in green jerseys leaving early. I really did.
Yeah, yeah, and their quarterback. There were a few that left early. If I noticed that. Yeah, and you know what? It's you want to win Labor Day. You want to obviously host playoff games, but you want to beat the Riders. And now you've got the Stampede Bowl. That's a big one. The rain game again. Can't control that, like you say. But you have made McMahon a fun place for your fans. And I'm sure the people in those with the cushy chairs in the offices, they got to be happy with how things have been going.
Well, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We feel we're going in the right direction, but sports is so weird. I mean, you lose to one player or a couple players in the wrong position where you don't have the depth, or ball bounces in a different direction, you kind of lose momentum. Confidence is one of those things. It's there, but it's certainly it's a bit fleeting at times. So for us, we like what we're doing. We know we got to play better and be better, but as a city organization, we felt like we put some things in place to try to have success, and we do feel we're on the road to success.
Yeah. This is your second win against the Riders this year. It was a different game in a lot of ways. I mean, dominant performance once again, but just looking at VA's numbers, he was a busy guy the first time around here. 14 of 21, 222, three touchdowns. I think you talked about it after the game, how you had the bye week and you went to work and the players took they took what you gave them as coaches and they put it into place. But was it, you always want to kind of have the other team confused, a little bit off balance. Was it a different game plan? Did you try and shake things up just to give them some different schemes and different looks, or is that just kind of how it worked out specifically for VA on
Yeah.
the offense?
No, I mean we definitely we kind of have the guys, the players, they understand each week is almost like a different game plan, and it's like a different offense, a different defense with a foundation that you always go back to. So it's not like we can change everything up, but you definitely try to put in new wrinkles, new looks. What do you do is you also have time to go back and look at what you've done. And so you want to show the exact same look at what you've done and then put a different play or a different route on it. A lot of times it can be just looks the same, but to the team, they'll overplay it, and then you put the double move or a different route combination on it. And defensively, I think basically Sass, the previous game we played them, they got into a little rhythm in the second half, and so we tried to change things up as well. But the big thing was we didn't play that great, which is a cool thing for us. We had a double-digit win against the team with the best record in the league, and I don't think we played that great. So for us, it shows us we've got areas to improve, and also we got to be so much better. But it does trend in a positive direction because we beat the team that had the best record in the league, and really didn't even have to play our best game.
I love that from coaches. It's have a convincing win at home over, like you say, that I didn't think we played that great. Coaches see different things. They look for different things than the fans do. Although that, like you talk about Saskatchewan getting into a rhythm, it looked like they were starting to get there in that second quarter. It was a bit of a roller coaster. You get the lead with 14-2, and then it's gone by the half, and then 18-0 in the second half. Walk me, I guess, as we go back to a few days now, but walk me through the bit of a roller coaster.
Yeah. So, I change it up a little bit depending on weather. I did want to defer this game, and I wanted to have the opening kickoff of the third quarter. I feel a lot of times in tightly contested games, that first drive of the third quarter is the most important drive of any game because it can set the table for, kind of what the identity of a half can be. And we held, it's 15-14. We did have some mistakes. They had all the momentum. We did make some adjustments, offense and defense and special teams, and we were able to come out and execute it. And Mainly, I thought our physicality went up. We made a couple turnovers and interceptions, but then we were able to then get them back on them, and it just came down to that fourth quarter as we were starting to run the ball. We were keeping the clock moving. We started making big throws and catches, and defensively, we started getting after their quarterback, and those were just a good recipe for success.
Yeah, I want to touch on a few of those things. It feels like we talked, whatever it was, a few weeks ago about the changes, and everybody's talked about all the changes you made. You make wholesale changes across the board, but on the D side, there's some real growth there from the first few weeks of the season to what we're seeing now. They get to Trevor Harris, he leaves, 4 sacks, a couple of picks. They've really come together nicely. Do you feel like that's what you're going to get from these guys, or is there room to grow? Have they plateaued on that side?
Hopefully not. One thing we're really quite okay. We're young, but we got some really good veterans that have kept it all together. The guys we brought in, and another one we hope to add to that is Adam Bighill. But we brought in enough veteran guys from other teams that we feel they can be glue and they can hold it together. But we got a lot of young, especially in the secondary. We got a lot of new pieces back there, and they're making plays and they're finding ways to I guess get after the quarterback. The main thing is we're stopping the run. We've been doing that consistently all year, and then once they do that and they start kind of just committed to just a passing game, can we impact the quarterback and get after him? And our ends are fast and explosive, with Flo and Clarence Hick. Our interior guys are strong and push the pocket, and then we have enough confusion in our scheme that gives guys and different types of fronts that it gives the offensive line different things to think about. So right now, yeah, we're doing some good things. People will figure us out, and we've got to change and make sure we continue to get better.
Hicks, I think the kid, he is a dog. He was eating on the weekend. That's a hell of a player, man. He's feeling it right now.
Well, him and Flo are both undersized, but willing to mix it up, like stop the run. That's the thing about it is if you have undersized fast guys and they won't play the run, it's not going to work. So you have to have enough, I guess you said dog in you to sometimes sit in there, take on a double team, split a double team, fight with that offensive tackle. And then when it's your time to go after the quarterback, we've lined them up over the guard. We've lined them up from off the line of scrimmage at linebacker. And sometimes they drop, sometimes they rush. So I think that little indecision and confusion that we're giving them has certainly helped us.
You mentioned Adam Bighill. He was close to playing this one. How close is he now?
He's probably one of those that I think is trending to play. But I also want to make sure we are playing well. And guys, we've always talked you earn your playing time. And so I'm not just going to just make wholesale changes. I do believe he will make us better, and I want to see him on the field. I think he's a good player. So he's working hard, though, and I like what he's doing, and not only on the practice field, but in the meeting rooms. And certainly I think he's been a big addition, even though he hasn't stepped on the field.
Riders have been getting to the quarterback. I think they led the league in sacks, maybe still do, but your O-line kept your quarterback, gave him some time, kept him clean. It's as you as a QB can appreciate that. Again, another facet of your team that's coming together nicely here.
Yeah, as you know, like we didn't really throw. We only threw 21 times. I think if you put your quarterback back there 40 times, and it's gonna be hard to hold up. So we feel the best thing to do is stay balanced, run the ball. Even if we don't always get first downs, I think it allows our offensive linemen to have that aggression, that downhill action on defensive linemen, and an aggressive mindset. I think is something that offenses need. I always feel like sometimes if you're just a true throwing offense, at times you can get stymied because your offensive line are playing on their heels or in a backwards tempo. We want to be going forward. But so Vernon also solves a lot of those issues with his mobility. As our 2-point play, I decided to go for a 2-point up 15 to try to push it to 17. I thought it was a huge play in the game. It gave us a chance to be a 3-possession game. That gave me a lot of comfort that we were going to get the job done. But it wasn't there. Vernon scrambles out and scores. He's been doing a nice job. But we have protected well all year. The games we've struggled is when we haven't been able to run. So that's certainly, we know the recipe that's going to take us where we want to get to. We just got to keep developing it.
What do you get? 6 different ball carriers. So between VA, and then you've got Diedrich, and then you got really moving it around. Again, it's kind of that deception, kind of keeping the other team off balance a little bit. It helps when you have those guys that can, like you say, that can run the ball, that can get things happening on the ground.
Yeah, and we did use Jalen Philpott a lot in our run game, which we're not going to do it every week, but it's just sometimes we just lean on certain guys in different areas. I like our running back room. I mean, we had two guys on Ludo and Eno Benjamin. Ludo is a Canadian guy, and Eno's an ex-NFLer that didn't even play, and they're both good players. But we have a good room. Mills is a better running back when he gets work, when he gets a rhythm, when he gets to touch the ball more than just the odd couple times a quarter. We know that we can do that if we have leads. So the key for us, as most football is try to generate a lead so that we can call any play we want and hopefully come after him with our big bodies.
That touchdown he scores there, if you don't pay too close attention, say, it's kind of a, whatever it was, 10, 12-yard run. There's some broken tackles. There's some moves in there. Maybe a little underrated league-wide, would you say, your running back?
Yeah. There are some good backs. We went up against a similar type of back. I think I don't know. I guess I can't all of them, but I think some of the best backs in our leagues are that strong, bruising type of back that gets better in the third and the fourth quarter. We've got one of those. I mean, the CFL has a lot of great players, but one thing the CFL usually is undersized. It's usually the players that are playing maybe aren't as big as down south. So once you put a running back in the 230s, downhill on these guys and a running back that has enough moves that can make you miss and yet can lower that pad and run you over. After a while, I think the DBs in our league do see, oh, shoot, here he comes again. I'm only 180 pounds. I got to tackle this guy again. It certainly could wear you out.
Wanted to ask you about Jalen Philpott. Gets his first touchdown, but boy, he's been around it. You use him in different ways. Like you say, feels like there's maybe a breakthrough. There's something special maybe coming here with Philpott. You hope anyway that there's been a breakthrough and that he could start to find the end zone regularly here.
The main thing for him is his health. So he had hamstring issues and then he had to get a big surgery on it. And he just wasn't quite himself even last year, but I feel like he's back. He's been showing it in practice. And then we have had a lot of injuries at receiver, a lot. I mean, he's playing where Reggie Bagleton would be playing. And that position, even Reggie doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, but it gets a lot of, chances to impact the game, whether it's blockings, reverses, or he's kind of that get that first down type of guy. And then when it gets closer to the score zone, a lot of teams then single up the outside receivers, meaning just they tighten up one-on-one. And you can see with our team, we've got size, we've got playmakers on the outside, and they've been the ones catching more of the touchdowns. But Jalen's been doing a good job, working hard. He's a pretty unselfish guy. He just goes about his business and works. And, it says a lot that, for us that we've been able to kind of generate, basically staying ahead of the sticks, playing good football, missing so many of our top offensive weapons at receiver.
You talk about having playmakers, and you hear it all the time. I just want to go out and make some plays. Got to go make plays. And even in that game on the weekend, the footwork on, just inside the white paint for the touchdown and getting over a guy for a reception or making a guy miss. It feels like you have a bunch of playmakers, to your point about that, where again, last year, maybe it's been a tough little ride here for you, but it feels like you've got some athletes who make those plays when you need them here.
Yeah, I mean, we probably went into the game, this game potentially without our top four American receivers. If you throw Reggie and Malik in there, Dom Rhymes, and then Tevin Jones, those are all our veterans that going into the year you thought could really impact our season. And yet, Eric Brooks has been a really good find for us. He's been here. He broke his arm last year, but he's been really doing a nice job. He's just so reliable and he does a lot of things well. We put in our Canadian right now with, Barnesy, Clark Barnes, Damian Alfred, I think can compete with anybody, American Canadian. They're doing some good things. They're different types of players. And then we found other rookies, credit to our scouting department. Dalen Baldwin, it's his second game. He didn't have the debut he wanted against Ottawa. He didn't play as well as he wanted, but he got a second chance and he made the most of it.
It's a hell of a catch. I would think from a coaching standpoint, and just this, not to get too mushy or whatever. I think there's buy-in from players and there's belief, and I think when a guy like you got the pedigree as you'll get some buy-in when you want to do some things as a coach. Players are going to buy in, but it felt you could feel it early from a long ways away, just from a fan's perspective, that there's some belief in this team. And this is now 2 wins against the Riders. You had the big one for whatever it was worth in the Stampede Bowl. Now you've got Labor Day against the team we'll talk about in a moment. But this feels like a team that believes that they're not just there. Yeah, we're marching to the orders that the coaches are giving us. These guys have some real belief in that room right now.
Well, I mean, we did. Yeah, I think you're right. I think when you bring in new guys, and even if they've been on other teams, that you're not exactly sure what you're going to get. But I think we've been very happy with the character and what we've brought into this room. It is the players that win and lose games. I mean, coaching can screw it up, in my opinion, meaning you can kind of get yourself too involved. Let the players decide the outcome. And, we're happy with the guys that we brought in because they're not only love football, but they're good players, and they're that all in full commit. They're the leaders by example, and they also are the first ones that are showing up at the building. So the buy-in's there. There's a lot of good players. I really think anybody can beat anybody in our league. I really do. That's why we got to continually make sure we're not even satisfied. Just stay hungry. There was nobody was on our train. Nobody on the Calgary Stampeders train to start the year. So you can use that as fuel. Now that we have had success, why do we need to change our approach? Let's keep doing things the same way.
It's almost feel like I'm in the room there. No one was on our train. No one was believing in us. Nobody thought we could do it. I can hear it. I can hear it. And when they start,
that's
right, it is true. It is true. And when they start working on their touchdown dances, there's some. They're starting to feel okay. So when we get into the end zone, we're gonna the boat thing. I think somebody I saw online what that was with this and do you help out with that? Do you help with the choreograph, or is that where coaching ends?
Well, Nick Lewis was here this week. And seriously, Nick Rambo, Copeland. That was a good group. That was really a fun group. Romby Bryant. They let Thelwell and
Sure.
Ralph get involved a little bit, which was nice. Now they obviously work on that a little bit. I never see them, but one thing I know is in the CFL, our days are kind of done at 1:30. The guys are not required to be here, basically past 1:30. So you can do two things. You can go home and get on your phone and play video games, or you can stick around, work in the weight room, play ping pong here, and maybe work on your touchdown celebration.
Sure.
So as long as we keep scoring, happy to see them.
Do you see some of that? Are the guys hanging out? That's from a coach. I would think that's what you want to see, is the guys being together and, like you say, not just disappearing back into their apartment or their condo.
Yeah, credit to our organization too. We did some things in the off season. We did a nice job. Upgraded. We didn't really have a players' lounge, so did a nice job with that. And I just feel like you said, Gio, even though he's been here 50 years, we didn't have a ping pong table. We have cornhole. We have some things that we didn't do in the past. And part of it is because we have such a small facility and it requires some organization, but also we have some give and take, you have to almost work around certain things. The weird thing is a ping pong table. I haven't gone on there, but we've got our equipment staff, we've got our training staff. All of a sudden, I think they set up brackets and tournaments. They're in there playing ping pong at 5, 6 at night too. So it's just little things like that have helped, but winning is the main thing. I mean,
sure.
Winning, if you can win and you validate your hard work and you validate the why I'm doing this, I think that's always the best thing.
Gotta love to see it though, Coach. You gotta love that stuff. Yeah, guys are 6 o'clock. Guys are still here playing cornhole. It's all right. Like hearing that. I was just thinking when you mentioned Nick and Copeland and those guys, which one of their touchdown celebrations? Because I'm thinking of they did when they had the whatever it was, the baton, the relay up in Edmonton was something else on the track at Commonwealth, and they had the bobsleds when they're leading side to side. Is there one that you recall that was your favorite?
Remember, a lot of those were, I was on the other team. I played with BC when they were, when I got here, we still had Cope and Nick and Rambo was just to me great people. Uh, the reason that I love it is that they enjoy life. Probably, honestly, I think Cope. I think Cope was the guy that was the one designing them, and getting into the Hall of Fame. Seeing him this year had been a while. That's why you play. A cool thing. I just was talking with Glenn Love by text. Now Glenn has ALS, so he's an ex-player. Glenn has ALS. It just came out and really trending. And he's planning on bringing, I think, his 1-year-old up in September for the BC Lions game. And I just these are the reasons you coach and play is relationships, and hoping to see some of those old guys that made my job so much easier. And that receiving core was honestly as good as it gets. I mean, Henry was throwing the rock and doing some great things, but those are some outstanding players. I think they just love life, loved being part of the Calgary Stampeders, and they were basically a big part of our tradition.
Sorry if I missed it. Why were those guys in town? What were they? Was there something going on, or?
No, so Nick was just down. Nick lives in Regina, so Nick
Yeah,
just came in for the game, but obviously he hears a lot from the other side. Copeland was in when we had our kind of alumni thing going
right.
on. I don't think the Hall of Fame had been announced yet, but I knew so. But we kind of had that generation thing where you try to bring back a player from every Grey Cup team. I really thought that was fun. I mean, I hadn't
Yes.
seen Mark McLaughlin in a long time, and obviously Cope came in, and I just felt like that was Flutie. I mean, come on, Doug's. I still think Doug is just one of the funnest guys to talk to. He's just a kid at 60 whatever years old. Just still, he'd jump out there at any point, play some flag football. Anyway, it was a great event. Marcus Crandall, I hadn't seen Marcus forever, and it was just well done. Cornish came through as well. I just thought right now our club and our organization, I think, has hit on a lot of their marketing deals, things that we should have been doing and maybe didn't, and by doing them, I guess better late than never.
Yeah.
And
I
it's been good.
I think that's so important because as you and I, we're roughly the same age and we keep getting older. You can lose track of how young players are when they come in. They don't remember Jermaine Copeland or Nick Lewis or Henry Burris. To have that pride in the brand, in the logo, and to show the kind of the swagger that this team had, and you'll watch their eyes get big. That also helps that belief and the buy-in, right?
Yeah, I mean, so one of our owners is Dave Sapunjas, and
Yeah.
I played 1 year with Dave, and amazing career and all that. So we had an owners barbecue earlier in the year, and honestly, I don't think anyone really knows Dave Sapunjas.
Yeah.
And yet, he's most outstanding Canadian, and to me, him and Flutie with Pitts. I mean, that's the cream of the crop. Garcia had some pretty good run there as well, but no, it was. Yeah, I think tradition is important, and also I think it shows people kind of you care about them more than just as a football player. There's got to be a way to keep that going because careers are pretty short. So you certainly. I go back to my college. We're going to have a 30-year reunion on the bye week. Head down to Missoula, and I haven't seen these guys forever, and I just can't wait. Obviously, I got 2 more games against Edmonton to handle, but I do feel like these are the I guess moments that you live for to get together with your guys and kind of reminisce about the past.
Do you think they remember Dave Dickenson down there? To this, well, we're talking about people that do they remember? I mean, you were a pretty big deal down there, Dave.
Well, it is weird. I'm not far away, in my opinion. You look Calgary to Montana, but there is something about the border. It's getting hard a little more about the border lately.
Yeah.
But even the Montana people, like, it's just out of sight, out of mind. You get to Canada, and I just, in my opinion, sometimes need to go back a little bit more. Still, my parents are both alive, and I do feel fortunate about that. And so I usually go to Great Falls, but it is fun to get to Missoula, Montana. To me, the mecca of college football. I'm telling you, if any Canadian wants a fun trip, go watch a Grizz game down there. It's an amazing, amazing atmosphere, and it certainly seems. It does. It seems big time. It's kind of like our atmosphere. They'll get 25, 26,000, and yet you're looking at a city of 70K. It's fun. It's fun. Get down there, Canadians, if you want to have a good trip, just to try to change things up.
I'd say go with you, but I think you're going to be playing some football here for a bit. You talk about Edmonton. I can hear the message. Just don't sleep on these guys because the Elks have been really, they've not had a lot to be excited about the last few years. But all of a sudden they've won 3 in a row. They're coming off a win against Ottawa, and do you feel like that's going to be a bit of a challenge? Yeah, coach, it's the we know what the Elks are. To have them ready, or do you think that that's not a problem with this group?
No, I mean, Edmonton is really, once they kind of figured out their quarterback position and decided to go a different direction, they've really taken off. And they've been the healthiest team in the league. They don't have any injuries. So, what that does is it provides continuity, and you can grow. A lot of times as your team's growing and getting better, and then you have all these injuries, it just keeps pulling you back. And even though you certainly have other players capable, if you can keep that group together, you usually will find improvement, and that's what's been happening. So they've been super healthy for the entire year. I don't know what they're feeding them up there, but it's been working. They have a long break. We have a long break. It'll be an exciting game. And, we do feel like they're a team that's another one in the West we have to beat. We have to beat these guys. We play them 3 times in the last 8 of our season. Kind of a weird schedule, but we got to try to take care of business at home. That starts on Labor Day.
And I think you're kind of road heavy to finish the year too, aren't you? This is another real opportunity, like you say, to get a win at home. Home's been good to you, big crowd, a real good chance to. We know it's you beat Saskatchewan, you beat Edmonton, you keep moving on up. This is a big couple games here for you guys as this season continues to. Because last year, we don't need to bring up last year. This is about where the wheels started to fall off for you guys. That's. Not that.
Well, we'll keep it to 2025. Yeah. I'm a lot happier this year, less stress. No, I'd say honestly, the thing about it is you got to keep stacking. Like I just said about it, success and where you're at, it changes so fast. And so the main thing I always preach is win at home, take care of home. And it's easier said than done, but we got a chance. We know we got them back to back. But the first thing is you got your game at home. Keep the momentum by playing good football, winning football. The score will take care of itself. If you go out there and play your style and you get beat, the other team's better than you, or the ball bounces their way, so be it. But you want to keep improving, and you got to make sure at the end of the game, you look in the mirror and you say, I gave it everything I got, and kind of let the score take care of itself.
Super happy for you, man. Losing does weird things, and it can sometimes losing. People lose their jobs or things happen that shouldn't happen. You turn this thing around in a hurry and prove that it's still the Calgary Stampeder football. We're still in the elite in this league, whether you think we are or not, and you've proven it. So happy for you, and can't wait for Monday. There's nothing like Labor Day, and I feel like there'll be some choreography going on in the locker room after practice this week. They'll be practicing up, I have a feeling.
Yeah, well, hey, let's keep it rolling, Calgary, and appreciate the support we've been getting. Our guys are feeling it. So show up. Let's get after it.
Thanks, David.
All right, Boomer. Take care.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.